Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Thursday, August 22nd. I don't know what I said yesterday, but if I gave any kind of odds on what was going to happen on tonight's show, that it indicated at all that it was pretty sure that Christie was going. I'd like to amend those that show, that last time I said that, because it does appear that Christie may very well stay tonight. I know, right? Who would keep Christie around? He got a chance to put her out. Not the laser focused Jackson. No, he wouldn't change his mind. Yeah, he kind of changed his mind. Now, a large part of the interwebs is giving credit to Christie for pulling this off. Some would even say that she did something on the level of Dan's funeral kind of a thing. And I say, nay. Christie definitely does work to try to save herself. But it doesn't hurt that Jackson, the person in Jackson's bed, the person who has his ear, wants to see Annalise go. And has always seen Annalise as more of a threat than Christie. So Holly has wanted Annalise to go. And Annalise does not like Holly. There's no doubt about that. Just see our last weekend's Big Brother Gossip Show, where we talked about the fact that Annalise does not like Holly. And I know I said Annalise, I'm pretty darn sure I said Annalise would rather see Holly gone. Holly would rather see Annalise gone. But it's Cliff's or it's Jackson's head of household and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I didn't mention that Christie and Tommy had a blowout night before last, or had a bit of a fight, because Christie was feeling that Tommy, or at least this begs another question. Was it a real fight, or was it a staged fight? And I don't know. I don't think it was necessarily a staged fight. I don't think they plotted this out thinking we should do this. If they did, there was no indication online. But Christie was frustrated with Tommy, saying that he was more loyal to Nick than to her. And so, just bear that in mind. So Christie and Tommy aren't seen as, particularly close by the house. I mean, they're seen as close, but not, they don't seem to be, they are not perceived in the way that we know they are. All right? But then, as we talked about this weekend, I thought Tommy was getting ready to dump Christie. And I still think Tommy would be okay with Christie going, but as it's flipping around now, he's going to be happy with her staying. So Christie did a lot of campaigning, has done a lot of campaigning. Annalise really hasn't done squat because, of course, she's been told, you're okay. Annalise has not been shy about hiding who she wants to go after, which is the person upstairs and his girlfriend upstairs. And so, at some point, it started to cross that line over to, well, why should we keep around Annalise when she's complaining about it and not even try to offer me any deals? And Christie's sitting here begging for deals, making us offers, saying she's going to go after Nick, who she had a knockdown, drag-out fight with on Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday, as they all are calling it. And then toss into the fact that Holly really doesn't want Annalise around. And over the course, they just started looking at possibilities, and Jackson's like, you're telling me things that nobody else, that Annalise isn't telling me, and I like what you're saying, and I'm thinking maybe we could do this. And then he started to poll other house guests, talks to Nicole, talks to Cliff, talks to Jessica, and Tommy. And when he talked to Nicole and Tommy, for sure, I didn't see them all, I saw some of the talks, he said, look, I'm not telling you what we're doing. Just be aware that I may come to you like right before the show to tell you what to do. That way, that gives you coverage. You can tell Christie and Annalise that you don't know what's going on. It's still up in the air. You can get away with that. You don't have to lie. You don't have to deceive. But I may come, but just be aware that I'll come to you right before the show or close to the show and tell you this is what we're doing. Like, we're voting on Annalise. And trust me, everybody that Jackson talked to when he told them this knew that this means that they are probably not keeping Annalise. They are probably voting her out. But they're trying to make it so that Annalise doesn't have to be upset. So Jackson's reasoning that he was telling everybody for this was twofold. He didn't want Nick to get wind of it and blow up. And he didn't want to make Annalise's last night in the house a rough one. Didn't want to make it a depressing night. Well, Tommy, I think somebody told right in front of Annalise, talked about how the votes could be flipping. So, and she got word of it. So she went to talk to Jackson, and Jackson hemmed and hawed, never said anything. But at the end of the conversation with her and Jackson, they stood up and walked out of the camp bedroom. And she didn't get a hug from Jackson. She didn't ask for a hug. Jackson didn't offer a hug. It was very much, yep, I'm dead. She walked downstairs, cried to Christie, went back and went into full-on sulking mode, crying mode, woe is me. Ended up in the boat room with, get this, Holly consoling her. That just was the funniest thing in the world to me, is that Annalise was complaining about Holly right, left, upside down, you name the direction, flipping her off when she walked out of rooms last week. And now Holly's the one talking, I know it's not fair. Oh, it isn't fair. I don't know why this is happening. It's like, you're the one who's partly responsible for this going on, Holly. Well played. I seem to be one of the few voices giving a lot of credit to Holly. Because, you know what? She also, remember, saved Jackson's butt when it was down to Sam and Kat. And it almost looked like the house was going to flip. And Kat was going to go because of this, rumored three-way know each other thing. And Kat orchestrated, the way to work their way out of that. So Kat saved Jackson's butt and Kat's butt that week. And she wants Annalise out, and it's going to happen this week. So she's working some magic here. And then Christie's campaigning certainly helped, but Jackson's willingness to do this. Jackson seems to think that by doing this is at one point, I don't remember who'd walked out of the room, but I think Tommy walked out before Cliff came in. There was a lot of one-on-one or three people conversations going on last night. As a matter of fact, there was more going on than the cameras could cover, which stinks, because things were said in alliance talk and everything that we don't know about, because you had Cliff talking to Jackson in one room and Holly talking, although the Holly Annalise talk wasn't going to be anything that telling. But and then who else? God, I can't even remember now. Jessica was talking to somebody, but there were several different things going on. Maybe Jessica and Nicole were talking. I'm not even sure. Point is, so Jackson's alone, and Jackson says, this is why this is good for my game. He said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have anything in front of me right now, but I went back and re-listened to it and wrote down word for word what he said, and I tweeted it last night. And by the way, before I get to that, sorry that I come across as I'll say jerk to some people, but you have to understand my timeline when I turn on Twitter and look at my mentions to see if there's anything, if anybody asks anything or anybody want to tell me anything about what's going on, and I have 2 or 3 people saying, things like, who's nominated? Why did the house flip? What happened? I'm sorry, I'm not, and this is what I said, and this is why I got called a not nice person. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't answer everybody's questions. Check my timeline. It's out there. I talked about it. And I got basically told, yeah, he doesn't answer anyone's questions. It's like, okay. I can't. I really can't. I mean, maybe if I had a little tip jar there and someone said, who's going home? Put a quarter in it. I'll tell you. It's Christie. Well, I thought it was Christie, but now it's Annalise. All right, so Jackson's alone in the head of household room, and he looks at the cameras. Or, I don't know if he looked at the cameras. He's talking to himself, though, so he knows the camera's recording him. He said, this could be a really good move for me. He said, and I'm not going to get them all, because he said, 4 different things. He said, I've put, how did he say it? I've pulled or pushed, Christie to my corner. I've pushed Nick out on his own. I've taken a target off my back, and passively I've messed up a Final Four alliance, which he seemed to be convinced that there was an alliance going on with Annalise, and there was. I mean, Annalise and Nick and Christie and Tommy. Which, yeah, he messed that up, but getting rid of Christie would have messed that up too. So maybe that's not the alliance he was talking about. I'm not sure. He's in his brain. He thinks he's doing a semi-magical move. And look, all right. All things said, I'm not upset about this. As long as I don't give a damn who wins the game, which that's key, I'm not upset about this. There are people that don't want Christie to win the game no matter what. And the fact that she will still be in the house means that she still has a chance to win the game. And I've said it before, but for anybody who thinks that there's going to be a buyback or anything, I don't think so. And I've said this, and I don't know if I've said it on here or not before, but I probably have. I don't think there's a buyback. I don't think anyone is getting a chance to get back into the game from the jury. Just because of, as I've said before, the way Jackson got raked over the coals by Julie Jack got raked over the coals by Julie when he walked out of the house. I just can't see them bringing him back in, giving him the opportunity to come back in. So I just don't think anybody that goes to jury is getting a chance to come back in. If they need to keep the number of people in the house the same for a week, which is what a buyback does, keeps the number of house guests the same, all they got to do is a rewind week where they don't have an eviction. I don't think they would take a limited number of house guests and bring them back in, if that makes sense. I don't think they would say, oh, well, we let, just the last 2 evictees get a chance to come back in. No, I think it would be all or none, and that's why I don't think it'll happen. So, all right. What have we covered? Have we covered pretty much everything? I mean, not everything, but I think good enough. Some people think that the fact that Nick knows, because Nicole told Nick that the house might be flipping. Did I mention that? May put a potential wrench if he starts doing some damage control, if he starts to try to change things. But I don't know if it will or not. It's not. This is not the huge fight, blow up kind of thing that the last couple of weeks had been, that we thought that got flipped back. This was more of a subtle, carefully plotted out, slow burn of a flip. And that's why I think it has a chance to stick. Plus, Annalise is pretty much rolling over and dying. That doesn't hurt things. I mean, she didn't put up a fight. But she also made the mistake of going around saying, I'm going to go after Jackson and Holly if I stay. Which Christie's saying, no, I won't. And she never tried to offer any deals because she thought she was safe. She thought she was a pawn. Not a good thing to assume. Don't ever volunteer to be a pawn, even though Jackson has volunteered to be a pawn too. What else is rattling through my brain? I'm gonna say I think that's it. I know there's more, but I don't have time. And I need to, get to work. So I'm not at work yet, but I will be in a bit. Anything else that I can think of? Podcast Saturday night. I may be doing it while I'm sitting in a car. That's a potential, which I have done before. It wouldn't be my first Big Brother Gossip show sitting in a vehicle. But that was 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. It would have been 2014. Yeah, it's probably 2014. That's when I did it, sitting in a car. So this has a possibility to spare my lovely spouse in a small confined space and company, multiple people, from being able to relax and not listen to me talk very loudly. I don't know if I drank beer. What if I'm sitting in my car doing a podcast drinking beer in a driveway? Could I get in trouble? I don't know. Maybe if I don't have the keys in the car. Maybe if I have to take the keys out and say, nope, not driving. I don't know. But I need the keys to run the AC or the power in case I needed to keep my laptop charged. This is a dilemma. I'm going to have to think about this. But that's not for you to worry about. You'll just be listening Saturday night. All right, guys, I'm out. I'm at my destination. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. Wow, what a crazy, wacky Wednesday night. Wednesday night it has been. I need to turn here, I think. I can't remember where I gotta go. Yeah, all right. I'm stopping someplace before I go to work, and so I'm not used to going this way. Yep, I think I know where I'm at. All right. With that, I will sign off. Talk to you later. Have a good one. Adios. Goodbye. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you. See you later. Bye-bye.